Hey YouTube, this is Jaden coming at you from Team Shadow Strike. In this video, I'm going to be talking about decks that would be a good idea for you to play if one of your clans or the deck that you have access to does not have access to a BreakRide yet. Because I'm going to go ahead and count the ones that we get in set 11, even though the release isn't until this weekend. Because that gives us BreakRides now for Gold Paladin, Gold Paladin, Narukami, the 14-year-old prostitutes for Bermuda Triangle, Spike Brother, Tachikaze, Aquaforce, and Kagero. So it's only about 6 to 7 clans. So I thought I would give you 5 decks that you could play that would go up against BreakRides, because the problem with decks that don't have BreakRides right now is they might get a disadvantage to decks that do have it because they gain such a powerful skill off of it. So I thought I would give you my top 5 decks that I would play, whether I was playing in a tournament or I was playing in just casual play, if I was not going to have access to one of these BreakRide units. So here they are. And these are in no particular order. These are just the top 5 choices that I would pick, and then I would just take my pick out of these 5. Number 1 would be Majesty Lord Blaster. Majesty Lord Blaster is still one of the best decks that there is. The simple fact that he sits at 12k plus 1 critical at all times gives him a huge advantage. Now you're not going to be able to be as reckless with the deck. You're going to have to be a lot more expert-oriented with it. You're going to have to know how to play the deck a whole lot better. If there's ever a type of video you want me to post, like maybe pointing out a couple combos with a certain clan that I know, I'd be more than happy to do that. So you can put that in the comment section below if you'd be interested in seeing a couple of those videos. Hearing me talk a little bit about them, or maybe I can do a video showing you the combo. But if you want something like that, please feel free to tell me, or I can give you tips on a certain deck. So you just gotta, in the comment section below, tell me what you think about that. But Majesty, he's still, when I did my video, cards that you should invest in, I stand by what I said about Majesty. Majesty's never a bad card to have, to trade for, or to pull, because you're always going to be able to trade him off. You're always going to be able to find some use for him, because he is an extremely popular card. So Majesty Lord Blaster would definitely be one of the good decks that I would consider playing if I did not have access to a BreakRide right now. Number 2, Goddess of the Sun, and the reason I say this, it is a cross ride while being able to get hand advantage. Oracle Think Tank decks specialize in hand advantage, and they also specialize in a lot of other things, mainly hand advantage. If you're going up against a BreakRide, you're going to want to hold your perfect guards and be a little bit more cautious with them. You're not going to want to use them maybe an early game if you're afraid of getting double critted and being pushed from 3 to 5 damage early, or something like that. Or I mean 2 to 5 damage. You want to be smarter how you use them. So, and plus Goddess of the Sun, it is a cross ride, so it would be a little bit easier to guard maybe. Any deck that can produce a cross ride right now that doesn't have a BreakRide is definitely something you should think about if you do not have access to a BreakRide yet, or you just don't have the stuff to play that deck. And Goddess of the Sun is one of those. I can't think of any other off the top of my head, but Goddess of the Sun, well, except the other 2 on this list, but Goddess of the Sun would definitely be it. One of the top ones, because any deck that has a boss monster that, if she does land a successful attack, you get to counterblast to and search out any card while being able to gain hand advantage, it would be really well. If you do play any type of Oracle Think Tank deck, if you've been playing a lot of critical triggers, I would suggest maybe going to maybe a 7 critical 5 draw trigger, or maybe even a 6 critical 6 draw, mainly just to keep adding more cards to your hand, because with BreakRides you're gonna need more cards, so you're gonna have to draw into those perfect guards, you're gonna have to draw into more of those shields that you can use, so you'll have to be able to thin your deck a little bit quicker if you don't have access to a BreakRide. This is something to keep in mind. Number 3, Dimensional Police. And the deck that you need to focus on using if you play Dimensional Police is the deck that one of my best friends, Christian, plays, is Dayusha. Dayusha is a lot like Majesty in the way that he can carry an extra critical at all times, while gaining an extra boost every turn because of his skill. Not because that you have the Super Dimensional Robo Daiusha in the soul, but because he gains plus 2k and a crit because of his Limit Break skill, pushing him at 15k to crit just because of his Limit Break, and then you boost him with Glory Maker, that's 25k. That's very, very good. If you are going to play Daiusha, you are going to have to be a lot more smarter with him now, because he is not just an over-abusive power whore that he always was beforehand. You're going to have to play him more like my friend Christian plays him, which Christian plays him probably the best. He's probably the best Daiusha player I've ever seen, and I'm not saying that just because he's my friend or he's my teammate. I'm saying that because I've researched a lot of decks. I've seen a lot of YouTube videos of people battling, and I've seen some good Daiusha players, I've seen some great Daiusha players, and I've seen some terrible Daiusha players. And maybe it's just because he has played the clan so long that he just can will whatever he needs into his hand at any given point, but go check out his latest Daiusha deck profile on this channel. He plays 8 draw, 4 crit, and 4 heal, and why that might sound a little unique to you, excuse me, sorry guys, and why that might sound a little unique to you guys, it does help him by keeping hand advantage, so he can block more attacks. He can protect his 12k attackers to ensure he gets the damage in that he needs to and forces you to eat your hand. So this is definitely something that you're going to want to keep in mind no matter what deck you play. If you don't have access to a BreakRide, you're going to want to maybe play 5-6 draw triggers just so you can thin your deck a little bit quicker. And if you're going to play Daiusha, this is definitely going to be one of these decks that you're going to want to at least play. I wouldn't recommend any less than 6 draw triggers. Number 4. The Shadow Paladin Overlord deck. This is the deck, I think that out of the 3 main decks that were being pushed out of set 5, got 3rd place, without there being a clear 2nd place. I think Majesty Lord Blaster in the end tied for 1st. They both deserve 1st place, but neither one deserves 2nd, and then Overlord, they were just like, well, Overlord, you can have 3rd. But now, the deck is actually... It has some time to actually get some appreciation, for the fact being that they do have a lot of underrated cards that really help the deck and can really do well right now. If you're going to play this deck, I strongly suggest you play at least 3 Skull Witch Nemains. I would also consider probably playing no more than 2 Blaster Darks. Keep in mind, guys, in this deck, if you're playing 4 Blaster Javelins and you're going to search a Blaster Dark out, and Blaster Dark's ability is not like Blaster Blades. He can only be used on the Vanguard Circle. And if you play this deck, please, for the love of God, don't think you have to use Phantom Blaster Overlord's skill every game, guys. And if you do happen to use it, don't do it when your opponent has 15 cards in their hand. Because even if you bluff a Perfect Guard out, whoop-dee-doo. Unless you are playing 4 damage flippers in this deck, which I've not seen anyone play, and nor should you, you have no excuse for abusing that ability, because your grade 2 lineup should be something along the lines of your 4 12k attackers, 3 Skull Witch Nemains, 2 Blaster Darks, and then 2 to 3 Machas. That's it, so at least that is the best way I've ever seen the deck play now. Now, when set 12 comes around, we won't even have to worry about this version of Shadow Paladin anymore, because Revengers will come out, and this new stuff for Shadow Paladins that we're talking about right now won't even matter, because Revengers are way better. But if you want to play Shadow Paladins, now would be a great time to jump on them, because they're probably dirt cheap. And 2, it is a cross ride, so if you can produce a cross ride now against a deck that plays break rides, well, Shadow Paladins won't get their break rides in the American meta until, I'm thinking, late January, February, it might be a good idea to do it. And the final deck that I will talk about is Dark Irregulars, and Dark Irregulars is a deck that I don't think has ever gotten the respect it deserves. Dark Irregulars is a deck that is used by... I don't know how to say this. It is an outcast deck. It's an outcast clan. The monsters are not that pretty. They're not that good looking. They're just badasses that have dark powers. If you are going to play this deck, I highly suggest you play Dark Lord of the Abyss if you had to pick one out of the three main ones, which is Amon, Reiji, and Dark Lord of the Abyss. The reason I say that is at least Dark Lord of the Abyss is an 11k. If I had to pick a second, I'd say Reiji. But I've also seen versions of this deck where you play all three of those monsters. Now, that sounds entirely weird, but you know what? Sometimes decks like that are cool to see. But Dark Irregulars is a good deck, mainly because their Vanguard can swing for astronomical numbers. Because Amon gains 1,000 for every card in the Soul when he swings, and then Dark Lord of the Abyss, for his limit break, you counterblast 2 to Soul Charge 2, and then he gains 1,000 for every card in the Soul. So just a lot of very good stuff. So Dark Irregulars is another deck that you could consider playing. So that's tossed out there. The one other deck that I will mention that I didn't feel was one of my top 5 choices would be Spike Brothers. Spike Brothers just literally have not gotten support in, like, the last 5 years. So once set 10 rolls around, Spike Brothers will be a lot better. And I mean a lot better. But right now, the 5 decks that I would consider using if I was going to be playing in, like I said, a tournament or a casual play without BreakRides would be either Goddess of the Sun, Majesty Lord Blaster, Dimensional Police Dayusha, Shadow Paladin Overlord, or Dark Irregulars. So, it's my opinion. So, if you want, in the comment section below, out of these 5 decks, tell me if you agreed with my choices. Tell me if you think there's another deck out there that can't use BreakRides yet. And tell me which one you think belongs on this list. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Comment, subscribe. I hope this helped those of you who may not have BreakRides yet. I hope this helped everyone at least a little bit, or maybe just conveyed some information. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Comment, subscribe, thumbs up this video for me, and I will see you later.